Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Q&A, live Q&A on Monday. It is June 28th. We are basically halfway done with 2021. Although I was talking to people at church yesterday saying how the second half of a year always feels bigger, longer, more robust than the first half. I don't know why. There's no good reason for that. Perhaps in the second half of the year we can go outside. We're doing a Q&A here where you can just talk to me, ask me questions. Thank you very much to Chris for covering for me last Monday. I had a chance to go look at the new hotel we're using, the DoubleTree, for the retreat, which is fantastic. So very pleased about that. Alrighty, let's see some questions. Now, don't forget everybody, I don't answer every question that's asked. I usually don't give you my opinions on games because, hey, that's what reviews are for. I also don't normally do comparisons of games because, hey, that's what reviews are for. So let's see what questions we got here. Do you know if Tasty Minstrel Games is still around? I do not know this. It doesn't look really good right now, but hey, you never know. I haven't heard from anybody who works there. We haven't got a game from them in well over a year, probably. More than that, likely. But I don't know. I will say that most game companies that go away do not do so with a bang, unless Asmodee buys them, of course. So that's just the way that the world works. You mentioned in your Monza review that was one of your top 3 kids games. What are your other 2? I think what I actually said was it's one of the top 3 I recommend to people when they're talking about kids games. I probably should have mentioned the other 2 because so many questions about that. But from Haba specifically, if someone says, what are great kids games? I'm like, Monza, Rhino, Hero, Animal Upon Animal. Have you looked at Gloomholden yet? I have no idea what that means. How do you decide which games to review each week? Well, I kind of spread them out. Each week, I try to review a few quote-unquote big games, a kid game or 2 if I have some in the can, and then I try to do like an even spread. So, for example, over here on my shelf. So right now, I can see a lot of different games there. I have, for review purposes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So I have 40 games to review there. That's a lot. Man, just a few weeks ago. So of those 40 games, I'll look at them and say, what are the big hot games there? So there's one on the top shelf. There's one on the second shelf. There's 2 on the second shelf, so that's 3 big hot games. And there's 1 on the bottom shelf, so there's 4. So I'll probably do 2 the next week I review, which would be in a few weeks, because I've already recorded the reviews for this week. And then 2 the week after that. By that time, I'll probably play some other hot reviews. Then I'll look and I'll say, okay, let's do some middling ones. Let's do some low ones. I also look at ratings. I try not to review too many garbage games in one week. I don't want it to look like we're super negative here at Dice Tower because we're not. So I'll go through them in that regard. There's not a real strong philosophy here. I just try to spread everything out. Are you going to review Oath? I don't know. No, I'm not going to review it. I guess a better question would be, are you going to play Oath? At some point, I might get around to playing it. The guys played it without me, with my blessing and even urging, actually, because I have other things to do. I just didn't get around to it. I might, but I would need to find some other people to play it with. Have I seen a video that matches my Monopoly build a review of Queen song, We Will Rock You? Yes. I'm very rarely amused at myself, but I thought that whoever put that together, that was pretty funny. If Hasbro fired their team of typewriter monkeys and committed to making a decent game, which of their IPs do you think has the most potential? Well, let me man, there's a lot of good opportunities with life, right? Just the idea of going through life. So I want to say life off the top of my head because Monopoly's been overdone. So I don't know that I would say Monopoly. Maybe life, but I don't know. Don't forget about the Shoots and Marbles People's Choice vote. That 'tis true. So I will go and post it in the Facebook group right now. We have a Shoots and Marbles Facebook group if you've not joined it and you like Shoots and Marbles. So let's see here. Got to find the Shoots and Marbles group, which is #1 actually in my favorites for no reason at all. Time to vote for the People's Choice Marble tomorrow. Can't be one that has won before. And then I'll add a poll and post it. Done. You ask, it happened. All right, let's go back to the Q&A. All right, let's see here. Can you tell us about your parents and siblings? I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Let's talk about my parents first. My father lives out in Nebraska. My mother passed away it's 3 or 4 years ago now from cancer. But my father, he's about to retire very soon. He delivers bread out in Nebraska. I got 2 brothers. One's a police officer in Indiana, and one works in business in some manner or fashion in Pennsylvania. And then I got 2 sisters. One's out in Oregon. Teaches at home, I believe. And my other sister lives in Canada. Where is the Loki ranking in your list of MCU shows so far? I will not give an answer to that until the whole thing's over, because that really matters to see how they stick the landing and what happens. Will you or Z be doing a top 10 app rankings? I think I did one before already. Maybe he will. Is review coming up for the Imperium serums from Osprey? Normally I don't answer these questions, but at some point, yes. It's on my, remember the 40 games I talked about? It's one of them. How's everything working out at a new studio? Really well. I was just eating lunch in the back porch, and it's raining outside. Oh, it's so good to eat outside on the porch with it raining. It was just a good time. I try to decompress real briefly in the middle of the day. I try to work really hard. I land here just after 7 or right before 7 and work, and I usually eat lunch at 11, so 4 hours in I eat lunch. Not too long, but I go out there, eat lunch, I played a game of Hearthstone and won, which was good, and then came in. But I just really like that. But the studio seems to be working really well. I mean, obviously there's quirks and things and problems and stuff, but yeah. Are you on blood pressure meds now because of the rage induced by Monopoly Build It review? No, I don't really get that upset about these things. I mean, some of that's faux anger. I mean, I'm really upset with Hasbro for producing this trash. But I sleep at night. These are things you're like, and then you're done. Because there are other things to get really upset over. Am I looking forward to the other Marvel TV shows coming out? Yes. Why would I not be? Obviously. You said you're giving Waste Nights to Mike. Actually, I gave Waste Nights to Z. So I know Z's working on that now. Is this a 101 Dalmatians tie? Yeah, I guess it is. Although they have blue ears instead of black ears. I'm not sure why. Do you think Hasbro uses in-house game designers and artists? Yes. Why don't they hire a well-known designer for a better game? Because they don't care. They're going to sell a gazillion copies regardless of who the designer is. I mean, we were very fortunate a decade ago when Rob Davia was embedded in there. And Craig Van Ness. They were putting out good games. But at this point now, they're not. Do you think Etsy is going to jump on Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition like it did with the original? Probably, because Etsy jumps on everything. I'm finding it problematic to keep up with Etsy. So I've just got a whole bunch of stuff from Etsy for my games. But I don't know how to learn when new stuff shows up on Etsy. I just annually go to Etsy and look at everything. But I don't know how to, I wish there was a way to do a subscription service and say, oh, hey, I got something new. Oh, that's interesting. I know you can do it with specific stores. But I kind of put it out there like, hey, if you're watching this and you make upgrades in any form or fashion for board games, contact me because I love them. I'm moving to the U.S. soon from the U.K. Any particular great things about living in a state I should look forward to? Sure. It's really weird, though, because in the United States, it depends what state you're going to. So tell me that, too, and then I'll answer your question more specifically. But, the states here in America, they're not quite different countries, but there's a big difference between living in Florida and living in Nebraska, just as a side note. Do you laminate game pages? For example, those from Roll and Writes, etc. Yes, for the library or personally for the library, but yes. What exactly is a summer spectacular I keep hearing about? Well, you can go back and see. We did a summer spectacular last year. We did a summer spectacular, a winter spectacular, and a spring. This is the fourth one that we've done. It is just a week and 4 days specifically, 4 days of game playing, special events, and different things, all live, or most of it live. So check it out. Gloomhaven is an 18-card, no table needed version of Gloomhaven. It can be played completely in your hand, but provides a way to play it on a table as well. I don't know if I can be as not interested in that as Zero. Who wanted an 18-card, no table needed at Gloomhaven? Gloomhaven's Gloomhaven. It's kind of like saying, oh, Love Letter. I want the gigantic, huge version of it. I don't. Love Letter is cool. It's a small little card game. Gloomhaven's a big, giant game. They're good. I don't need that. I don't know. Did Isaac design it? It just doesn't seem very interesting. Now, if you're the person who made the game, I apologize. I don't mean to insult, but I personally have no interest in that. Do you have a favorite Disney princess? Yeah, the Tangled. No, not Tangled. Is it Tangled? Well, when I was a kid, it was definitely Belle. But I don't know. They're fine. I like most of them, which is good because they show up in my house often. I noticed you are reviewing more kids' games recently. Is that because viewers commented that you rarely review kids' games several months ago, or just a coincidence? No, I would say it's a coincidence. I review games as I get them. Maybe I didn't get a lot of kids' games a few months ago, but they definitely come in and I review them. So I'm not sure what that means. In a few years, I may run out of kids. At that point, I don't know what I'll do to review kids' games. Is it therapeutic to do a review like the one you did for Builders after you have a negative gaming experience? No, not really. I don't do it for that reason. I don't do it to be therapeutic. If I play a game and I don't like it, I move on. Like I said, I get involved with the review because I want to review it properly and tell you all if a game is good or bad. I also feel like it's really important that I hit all the extremes in my reviews because when I love a game, I really rave about it on the show too. So, no, I don't do the therapeutic stuff, whatever. That doesn't matter to me. Ooh, I do like this. I figured I could use your fingerbot. They could have used it to push the button in Doomsday. No, because they had to input a bunch of numbers, right? It wasn't just a button. They had to input a series of numbers, so that wouldn't work either. Let's see. Isn't the pursuit of happiness basically the gamer's version of the game of life? Oh, probably, but Hasbro didn't make it. The question was asked about Hasbro. That's what I would say. Will there be a summer spectacular event and a summer spectacular? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. Is there a contest that I missed? There is not one that you've missed, because let's talk about a contest. Wah, 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 wah. All right, folks, if you're watching this now and you want to enter this contest, this is for a $10 gift certificate from Game Nerds, which, by the way, last week I did a Game Nerds, the best sellers of May 2021. I always find those really interesting to do. So anyhow, if you want to see that, go check that out from last week. Meanwhile, let me find here. Our contest for today. Today is 6/28. A $10 gift certificate. Pearl is what you need to do. Email us at contest@dicetower.com. Put the word Pearl, P-E-A-R-L, in the name, in the subject, and then in the body. Tell me who your favorite Marvel villain is. You can put none if you so desire. Favorite Marvel villain. Anyway, that's our contest. We'll announce the winner and let you know within a week you have to enter it. Let's see here. Are you a miniatures fan? I am no good at painting, so often find it easier to see what's happening with token standees, but I think it might be in a minority. Maybe. I don't really like tokens because they're just flat on the board. Standees are fine, but I don't know. It all depends on the game. But I do like miniatures. I'm no good at painting either. So I try to get other people to paint them for me. Some folks swear to miniatures other than poker chips. Could you see both happening? Miniatures with stats on the bases, maybe even a little wheel on the base to count hit points. Whiz kids may want to talk to you. How do you feel about small big boxes? I like them. They're great because they're not overly big. By the way, I keep getting a lot of information where people say, where is this coming? When is this coming out? Do you have news about this? I don't actually work for any of these publishing companies. Your questions are best served towards them. You predicted Dwellings of Everdale will be in the top 100, but the game is not in retail and hard to get. Sure, and that may stop it from getting in the top 100. When a game gets taken out of Dice Tower Library, I actually just pulled 3 out today. Possibly because you have to make more space. What happens to it? Sold, donated, auctioned. Well, it goes in storage. And then we usually sell them off or auction them off or do something with them at one of our upcoming conventions. Monaco brings a key lime pie to Summer Spectacular. Would you let him throw it in your face even if you win the competition? No, because that would be a waste of key lime pie. Where were you born and raised? I was born in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I was also raised there. Is there anything you miss about the old studio that you wish the new studio had? A cat. Not really. I can't think of anything that I don't like better about here. Our oven worked at the old studio. The oven here doesn't work. Not that we use it that often, so I haven't replaced it yet. But I can't think of anything. Since you played Scythe, Rise of Fenrir, can it be repacked and played again or sold after you play it through? Also, it's important to have the same people for all the campaign. I would try to have the same people for all the campaign. But you can repack it and play it again. I just stuck mine in the game, and you can just pull out the different parts of it and use it as a module. Have you thought about using the fingerbot to start the marble races? That might that might work. I'd have to see if I can figure it out. Have you read the Bone comics by Jeff Smith? Yes, that's my favorite graphic novel of all time. If yes, what kind of board game would you see the theme tacked on? Probably a racing game. Probably. Is the Dice Tower Awards in about the same format as last year? It's close, but not quite. What's your favorite upgrade that you own from Etsy? Ooh, I don't know. I really like that little spaceship docking thing I have for colonies. You can see it in the Terraforming Mars big box video. I don't know. There's so many good ones. Oh, I really like those stone cubes I just got. They're amazing. Also, I got some really cool eggs for Wingspan I thought those are pretty amazing. You'll see them in tomorrow's boring unboxing. You said that the new Monopoly game cost was under $2. Do you really think so? Yes, I really do. That's not it. I'm not exaggerating there, folks. Hasbro will get the cost of those games down to be that inexpensive. The games themselves, folks, aren't as expensive to produce as you might think. Like, you know, a game that you might buy for $40, $50, a game could cost $8. They're not expensive to produce in that regard. But I'm not saying that companies they're not cheating you, because they have to ship that game and they have the organization around the whole company. I'm talking about the cost to get it produced. All that other stuff goes around. Then they sell that game to a distributor who's going to double the price, who then sells it to us. You know, that distributor sells it, and then the store is going to mark it up on that price. So games have, you know, there's all these different things that prices will go up from the beginning. Now that the rights for Yellow and Yangtze seem to be up in the air, would you be interested in Dice Tower Essential? No. I like it though. It's a fun game. Is any of the Dice Tower team attending Origins this year? I don't know. I don't think so. Assume that we're not. Origins is halfway between Gen Con and Essence. Here's the deal, folks. Dice Tower will be at Gen Con. And we'll be at both the Dice Tower retreats. That's it. That's all I can promise you this year. That's 3 things, 3 different events. Sorry. Wish I could tell you we'd be at more stuff, but not this year. Illinois, moving from UK to Illinois. Well, you'll find probably that the amount of different things you can get is going to be overwhelming. That's one of the cool things about America, is that there's so many different things, you know, and, you know, we got some great things here. It's so easy to get things shipped to your house. There's big wide spaces. You can go visit different things and you'll never get bored, especially if you're in Illinois, because you're right in the middle of America. The food's a little blander in Illinois than I prefer, but maybe that doesn't bother you. But in Illinois, you got Chicago, which is a really cool city to go visit and do a lot of cool things in. There's a little bit of, you know, Abraham Lincoln was born here type things. You're not too far off from, you know, the big conventions in America. Gen Con and Origins aren't that far away. There's a lot of great game stores and a lot of good gaming groups in Illinois. Yeah, I enjoyed my time in Illinois. Can I recommend a good laminator? I don't know that I could recommend a good laminator. I bought one from Office Max. I don't remember what it was, and it works really well for me. But I don't know anything about it. I don't have it here in front of me. I don't know what the brand is or anything. It just worked well. I would just look online at the ratings. They rate them. Have you experienced Kickstarter fatigue? Maybe. I've had enough misses. I'm way more cautious than I used to be. Good. We get garbage every week when we do our crowd surfing show because we say, this doesn't look that good, this doesn't look that good, this doesn't look that good. People are like, oh, you're so negative. Well, I'm okay with that because we want things to look amazing. Movie stars during lockdown. Bad cameras, bad sounds, board game designers at home, crisp video and sound. Well, I don't know about, I think you mean board game. The point of it is I did feel a little good last year during the lockdown in the sense I was like, wow, these people who have millions of dollars don't look that good when they don't have a whole camera crew shooting them. Do you keep all-time records for certain games like high scores? No, not particularly. I don't do that. Can you tease anything that will be played or reviewed in the upcoming Summer Spectacular? There won't be any reviews in the Summer Spectacular, but played. We're going to be playing Vanguard again. They've redone a lot of things in it, so we'll be taking a look at Vanguard. We're going to be playing Farm Shop, My Farm Shop. We're going to be playing Distilled. We're going to be playing Wonderland's War. We're going to be playing Witches... a witch game from AG. Sorry, I forgot the name of it briefly. But there's a lot of different games we'll be playing, but that's some of them. Do you think it's worth it for companies to rework older games, or should they just work on new stuff? Sometimes it works. I mean, look at Android Netrunner. That was a reprint of an older game, and it came out and did gangbusters. And then there's a lot of games that are reworkings that don't sell that well. Can Dice Tower take the lead on bringing back International Tabletop Day? Probably not. There are some folks who bought International Tabletop Day, and there's some great people putting it together. And it was supposed to go off last year, and then the coronavirus happened. So maybe we'll see that come back in 2022. There's an old crime game you've said good things about. The cover looks like the designer's family was asked to dress up for a cheesy photo. Yes, that is, what is that game called? Let me see if I can find it real quickly here. That game is called Organized Crime. So Organized Crime, which I just did a search for, not putting the word board game after it. That was kind of an interesting search there. Came out in 1974. I have given this one a 7.5. Actually, it's probably, I'm going to change it. It's a 7. And even then, it's a 7 more for nostalgia. Yes, that's a bad cover, but I don't think the game is great either. It's more silly than anything else. Man, I love that cover, though. That cover is amazing. I'll show you guys the cover here real quick. Let me see if I can do that. There. Isn't that cover just crazy? It looks so... It's such a fake cover. All right. But the game isn't good enough to have made that list. Have you ever gone easy on someone in a game and then regretted it when they came back and beat you? No, not particularly. I mean, if I go easy on someone and they beat me, then that is what it is. I have in the past occasionally regretted going somewhat easy on people, and then they come back and beat me bad, and then rub it in your face and act like they're so much smarter than you for beating you, and you're kind of like, really? You think it was your superior strategy there? But whatever, you just got to be humble. Looking forward to a Dice Tower retreat. What's the weather going to be like in September in Miami? It is amazing here in September in Miami. It is still quite warm. And when the rest of the world is getting a little cooler, but it's nice. I don't know. It's going to be hot, though. But the air conditioning at the hotels here is fantastic, so you don't need to worry about it. Fingerbot is the smoke monster. You're right. Your reviews with comedy bits say crushing a game with your car get a lot of attention. Are you ever tempted to make the Dice Tower more skit-heavy? Not particularly, because, first of all, I've been doing silly things like that for 12 years now, at least, on my videos. I mean, my very first series of videos, which was my first top 100 I ever did, I dumped all the HeroScape pieces out. I thought it'd be funny to do. So I'll do that sort of thing occasionally, but it's a lot of work, and I don't want to detract from the reviews. I don't want people to come to the Dice Tower for humor. I want them to come because they know we love games, and we're going to talk honestly about games. Since you're Amish, then are your teeth all fake? No, my teeth are real, unfortunately, or not. I wonder why you would think I was Amish, though. I'm wearing a mic here. How many games total are in Dice Tower Library? I don't know. It's close to 2,000 at this point. I haven't added them up. I just was moving a few around for betterment of shelves. The library just got all straightened up. We added some new components to Rising Sun today. I got a new playmat rack for bigger playmats. And, yeah. Oh, did we add a game to the library? No, but we're working on Tan House. We're trying to figure out how to get that in the library. What mistakes do you think new to the hobby gamers often make? Probably you buy too many games. That happens a lot. People who are new to hobby and they get excited, they just go out and start buying game, and they just buy everything. What do you order on pizza? I try to get something different and unusual if they have it. But let's say it's a normal place that has normal toppings. I don't know. It all depends what I'm in the mood for. But let's say I was getting one right now, and it's just for me, and I don't care about what other people think, and I could get as many toppings as I want. I would probably almost always get the volcano pizza type thing, which is basically Hawaiian pizza, pineapple and ham. I love ham, and hot peppers. But if they have other things, I'll get pineapple, ham, hot peppers. I would also throw on chicken and onions. That being said, a good mushroom pizza I really like, and I love shrimp on pizza. I really like shrimp on pizza. And I also like, there's a kind of pizza that the place near here, Mamma Mia's, is a pizza place near here. And they make a pizza called Grandma Pizza, which doesn't have any toppings at all. But it's made, it's a square pizza, has a slight bittersweet taste to it. I love it so much, but there's no toppings at all. Want to help me out with my philosophy class, Tom? Can you give me your definition of philosophy and worldview? No. No. I mean, worldview is basically your philosophy on the world and the way you think things should work. But I'm not going to go into detailed definitions because I would not be good. I would look them up before I went through them. What computer programs you use to organize your top 100, top 10s, Dice Tower library, etc. For top 100s and top 10s, I use my own notebook. It's very manual. The Dice Tower library is currently a Word document that I'm going to be inputting it into a computer program at some point that we have ready for it. Are you going to buy the Scythe big box? I already have it. Didn't that come out like a couple years ago? But I have one. What's your favorite line dance? I don't think I've ever done a line dance. Which 3 did you pull out of the Dice Tower library, if you don't mind me asking? Well, 2 of them were duplicates. So Lost Cities, there was 2 copies of Lost Cities, and I said, yeah, we only need 1 copy. And one was Ubongo, and I was like, why do we have 2 copies of Ubongo? We had a big copy and a small copy, so I just kept the big one. And the third one I pulled out, I am struggling to remember it. I just remember thinking, no one really. Never mind. The third one's a duplicate too, but don't worry about what it was. Playthrough of QE for Summer Spectacular. Oh, Eric's here. That would be an intriguing game to play for the Summer Spectacular. We might. We'll see. I'm not promising anything there. What is the incentive to being not retail? Is it a production cost issue? Well, I guess think of it this way. What's the incentive to be retail? So if you could sell directly, so let's say, for example, that you can make a game for $10 that sells for $50. You have to sell it to the distributor. You make it for $10, so you double the price for $20. So you're making $10 per copy of a game. You sell it to the distributor, who adds $10, $15 to that, gives it to the retailer, who's going to double the price of that, whatever. So it's a $50, $60 game. But what if so the public perceives it as a $50, $60 game. I make it, I sell it for $45. Public's like, I'm getting a deal. But I'm now making a much bigger profit on it. Now, yes, that only works if you can get the logistic chains set up and have a way to get it out there. And you also need people to hear about it and learn about your game. Because, again, I want everyone to be clear, I'm not saying this to trash local game stores. Local game stores, you walk in, you look at the games, and you say, well, that looks interesting. If you don't sell to a retailer, that won't happen. So you need, if that's what you're looking for. But if you can advertise your games and then sell them directly, it's slightly easier. You make more money. You'll probably sell fewer copies, but maybe that doesn't bother you. There's a whole ton of other factors in there, and I'm only talking about a little bit of this, and everyone will have a very strong opinion on what you should and should not do and how you should not sell things. I'm just saying that more and more publishers are selling direct, and there are reasons that they're doing so. And it's not just because they're lazy. I know that some games will never be reprinted because of licensing, etc. Are there any discontinued games with seemingly no hope of a reprint that you find particularly tragic? Glory to Rome is the biggest one probably because of all the different arguments and designers giving up on it. So that's probably one. After that, I would jump to Star Wars Queen's Gambit, which is because of the IP and the licensing probably, like you said. Have you been to Dorney Park in Pennsylvania? Well, sure. I lived really close to it. I used to get so annoyed. We would drive by it all the time. All the time we'd drive by Dorney Park, and I'd be like, I wish we would pull off to Dorney Park. And we went there at most once a year. We did not have a lot of money when I was a kid. So we barely went to Dorney Park. I think I've been to Dorney Park maybe 5, 6 times my whole life. But it's a good time. We had a good time. Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom. What's your favorite storage option for card games like Marvel Champions or Arkham Horror LCG? I'm trying to figure out a cool way to storage my collections. I like the big brown boxes that you can buy from Hobby Lobby, and then you buy an insert for them. Those work really well for that. Get an air fryer for the studio. You won't regret it. No, I'm not going to just randomly air fry stuff here. The reason I want an oven is because an oven is, I'm sorry, I know air fryers, everyone loves them, and they're the hot thing for everyone to have right now. But an oven is invariably more useful. With a stovetop and an oven, you can just make so many more things. But we don't need that here. We need a microwave. That's all you really need. The stovetop would be nice. The oven less so. So I'm going to drag a grill here next Sunday for our July 4th picnic, and we're going to have a good time doing that. But other than that, no. What do you do with expansion box after you get them? They're out. Recycle bin. What's better written on average? Game rule books or the tech manuals for cameras and editing programs? Well, tech manuals for cameras and editing programs are almost non-existent half the time. I'll get a camera or something, and I'm like, well, what? Like the camera that you're looking at right here, Panasonic, it comes with like this 15-page manual. I finally dug up and found this gigantic manual on this camera that's such a pain to go through and find things on. Does the Vasel family shoot off fireworks on the 4th? Now it's been a few weeks. What's been the most surprising or unique game that we've uncovered from the collection we purchased? It's been more than a few weeks. It's been over a month. The most unique, surprising game. I don't know. Tannhauser might be the most surprising one, that there was everything for Tannhauser. That was kind of cool to find. There wasn't a lot of, there wasn't a lot of unique stuff there. It was a lot of big, giant Kickstarter stuff. Pokemon-themed wingspan, yes or no? No. What's the best experience that you've had when you visited the UK? A friend of ours took us into the underground we went to an abandoned subway station that was used during World War II to keep to hide the government from bombing, keep them safe. So that was really cool. We were the only people there in this underground station. It was also super creepy, but really cool at the same time. That was awesome. I thought that was fantastic. An amazing experience. Are foods or things from Pennsylvania you miss? Food, for sure. Something coming from Pennsylvania could bring to the retreat for you. Birch Beer. Oh, yeah. Middleswarth chips. Lebanon Bologna. Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about Pennsylvania stuff. So, for sure, Pennsylvania chips. Potato chips. By the way, I'm not giving you a list of things. I'm just going to reminisce about things I'm not trying to ask for any of this stuff. But Pennsylvania snacks, I love those. Pennsylvania has the best potato chips in the world, folks. If you have there, in most parts of America, if you go there, there's a snack aisle and it has one or two kinds of chips. And it's been growing over the years. But if you go in Pennsylvania, there's like 10 different kinds. When I was a kid, my dad worked for a company called King's, which most people never had, but there's the amazing Charles chips, which come in cans, and then there's Utz and Hers and Lay's. In Pennsylvania, if you eat Lay's chips, that's on you. But Goods, I think Goods were my favorite. I really like that from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has some really neat candy too. Some of the stuff's all over the place, but in the Lancaster area, there's some great candy. I haven't seen those fruit wedges sold too many places outside Pennsylvania. Now, the best thing from Pennsylvania probably is Tasty Cakes, but those have spread to the rest of America. But there's still some Tasty Cakes that you can't get here. Like, for example, butterscotch crumpets are everywhere here, but I never see the jelly ones. And the little pies, although those pies aren't really that good. The then of course there's you mentioned Lebanon Bologna. Of course, Lebanon Bologna is amazing. I don't know why people eat normal bologna when you can have Lebanon Bologna, or I can find Lebanon Bologna sometimes, but it's harder to find sweet bologna outside. Now, I know you're listening, you're thinking sweet bologna sounds disgusting, but that's because you're thinking of bologna, and bologna is often disgusting. But sweet bologna is Lebanon bologna, but it's sweet. It's really good. Then, of course, the best things from Pennsylvania are the sandwiches there. Yakko's hot dogs, they make the best hot dogs I've ever had in my life are from Pennsylvania. And some of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life are from Pennsylvania. Sub sandwiches, we didn't call them subs, we call them hoagies because they're that fantastic. Yeah, wow. Yeah, the food in Pennsylvania, I really like it. Birch Beer, I like Birch Beer, but I mean, I don't know that I like Birch Beer that much better than sarsaparilla or root beer. I do like the A-Treat soda, which is from Allentown where I was at, where they made a really good lime soda, and they have red cream soda. That's really good too. Sorry, folks, didn't mean to get off on food. Egg upgrades for Wingspan. Aren't the eggs already pretty awesome? Yeah, they are. And I upgraded them. So the upgrades got to be really cool. They're ridiculously cool upgrades. I just like them. Jamie says Scythe is around $12. Yeah, that makes sense because that game sells for like 70, 80, right? So it's $12. Again, people don't realize how inexpensive that is, and yet the whole process is much more expensive than that. I talk to companies and they'll go, I don't know. This game is, I'm buying this game for $9 and I need to get it down to $8. A dollar difference can mean everything. Will you ever consider bringing back the component drop if the cleanup being time consuming? Will the crew be able to partake in helping that out? If time is the issue, having other people do it takes up their time to do things. I don't know. I think it's a relic of the past. Favorite snack food when playing board games is probably vegetables or pretzels. No, I don't keep the food far away. We had a big spread here on Saturday when we had gaming here at the studio. So I had blocks of cheese. I got some brownies for Bonacor. We had some, what else did we have? We had some chips and lots of pretzels for sure. Pretzels with peanut butter inside them. There was some dried mango, things like that. My friends talked me into playing Seafall, and I absolutely hate it while they really enjoy it. Well, it looks like you're stuck there because your friends really like it. The average person will be amazed how cheap something costs to produce in general, not just board games. Sure, and they touch on this a little bit. If you ever watch Shark Tank, they'll say, how much do you make this for? And then you'll sit there and think, these people are robbers. They're getting it for this and selling it for that much. But you have to. Companies don't make millions on that sort of thing. You have to mark things up that much to pay for everything else. So much markup. Do you think games are too expensive or fairly priced? I think they're fairly priced. I do not think games are overpriced. You might think they're overpriced. I really don't. They are a luxury item. How do you remember which row the games are in? You only place the shelf number in the games. Well, it's written in the book, but I also, usually there's a hole and it goes in the hole, right? But if, let's say, all the games are taken off the shelves, we take a picture and print out a beautiful color picture of each shelf, and I lay that on the top of the shelf, so you could always compare that if you want to. How is the weight loss going? It's okay. I'm not losing weight as fast as I'd like to. I mean, it's an average of a pound or two a week, which is, what it's supposed to be. But I'm not upset where I'm at. Definitely my clothes are fitting better, and I'm not hungry all the time. And once a week I eat a nice meal, and that was yesterday. But I look forward to it each week. This coming week, the nice meal will be the cookout on July 4th. Wow, people are talking about Chicago. I'm really behind on is it better for a game to look bad and be fun, or look great and only be okay? I don't like either of those. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I'm surprised that Space Base seems to have taken so long on expansions. No, I'm not surprised. The owner of the company, I talked to him about this, and he said he was not going to make an expansion for Space Base unless it was amazing and good and kept the fun of the base game. And that's where he was at, and I like that idea. Do you know of a website to make end-of-game custom scoring sheets for less popular games that don't come with them? Board Game Geek people might make them for those. I don't know. I am finally going to dive in and purchase Le Havre. Do you think it's worth it to pick up the Board Game Geek upgraded backlight resources and bags for it? The upgraded resources are worth getting for the game, sure. But I would play it first. If you don't like it, then why would you upgrade it? Play the game. You might not, just because I like it doesn't mean you will. You might hate it. So don't get the upgraded pieces until you know for sure. Whirling Witchcraft from AEG, thank you. I know this is a very long thing, but that's one of the games we're playing next week during the Summer Spectacular. Smash that like button. Yes, folks, hit the like button. Doesn't hurt. Thank you. Do you know anyone was affected by the building collapse in Surfside? How far is that away from you guys? It's 45 minutes. I know this because I was there 2 Saturdays ago. Not at Surfside, but really close. I don't know anyone in particular. Kenny's mother lives 6 blocks away in a different, smaller building. So, you know, but we don't know anybody who's there. It's definitely a very tragic thing, and we're still, I have not read the news yet. I guess they still don't know what happened or how it happened. But yeah, that's a big deal. Can we have an all-oceanic race in chutes and marbles during Shark Week in July? Do you mean like race under the ocean? I don't know if I want to put water on the track. Could you have thought about making a new series of top 10 best party games, top 10 best family games, or other helpful guides like those? I guess I don't understand that. We do top 10 lists all the time. I don't know what you mean. Why do you think people are so rude and critical on comments of Kickstarter? Do you think they're ever justified? No, I guess they're justified. I mean, there's a lot of Kickstarter crooks out there for sure. I don't know. I got to think everything that you say is going to be put there publicly. You know, I thought about this even today. Like, I said some pretty harsh things about Hasbro. And if Hasbro was in the room with me, would I say those same things? Hasbro, the corporation. I think so, although at the same time I'd be like, why is Hasbro here? But I think we have to be careful. There's a lot of unkindness on the internet. The #1 rule in the Dice Tower Facebook group is be kind, and I am consistently having to wield that like a bat. Be kind to others. It's the #1 reason I delete comments on the Dice Tower Facebook group, because people aren't kind. It is possible to really dislike what someone is saying and to just say, I disagree, in a polite way. It's possible to do that. They can be capital, very capital, wrong. And yet you can still, I do not agree with this new methodology that a lot of people throw out there where there is a right way, all capitals underlined, to think. And if you disagree with that, we shun you and shout you down. And here's the funny thing. When I say that, if you're listening to this and you hear that, you're like, yes, it's these people. While those people are saying, yes, it's you, talking about you. I'm not thinking of any particular group when I say that. There's a lot of shouting and stuff done on the internet, and it happens on Kickstarter campaigns. And it's tough. It's tough. Let's see here. Doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doo. Top 5 favorite summer activities with the family. Well, we always try to go to Orlando. That's fun. So we always have a good time doing that. Going to the pool is fun. Of course, we can do that here. I've gone swimming with my family on Christmas Day. Great living in Florida. Watching a movie. There's all kinds of things. Playing a board game. Have you ever thought about doing a video along the lines top 10 best games on Kickstarter? Kickstarter has some amazing games. It would be a great way to get some more popularity for them. Don't worry about it. They're getting plenty of popularity. It's the #1 advertising section for board games right now. They'll be fine. We don't need to do a top 10. That mostly at this point might be a top 10 board games. There's more games seemingly going to Kickstarter than not. Paula has the corner on board game skits. I might argue that she has the corner on it, but she definitely does very funny stuff. Have I watched Lovecraft Country? No, I'm not a big horror fan, so I don't know if I want to watch it or not. Did you meet the designer of One-Upmanship at Gen Con? And if so, how did that go? I'm assuming you're referring to the article that was written that just got publicized. I guess he wrote it back in February about meeting me there. What he said is pretty much how it went. He came up and he had a suitcase handcuffed to his arm, and he shook my hand, and he said, "Do you know who I am?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "I'm designer of One-Upmanship." And I was thrown for a loop, and I thought, One-Upmanship, that's right. I really trashed that game. He's smiling. Is he going to yell at me? What's going to happen? I'm thinking all these things, and I said, "Oh," which is quite likely, where I was like, "Oh." And then I didn't know what to say. He left, and that was that. So that's what he said happened also. So I would say that part is accurate. I pretty much disagree with everything else he wrote in that article, but that part was correct. Super chat! This is for Z for recommending Nirvishima Hex. Played the app on a road trip, and it made the trip go by quickly. Yeah, I'll give Z $4. Who is the most enthusiastic for Spring Spectacular? I don't think anyone in particular is the most enthusiastic for Spring Spectacular. I gotta be honest, none of us are even thinking about it. We haven't even put a lot of thought into Autumn Spectacular yet, let alone winter and then spring. What kind of chairs do you prefer for your personal gaming table? Church chairs. You look them up, they're super comfortable. I highly recommend them. Yeah, I like, let's see, Tannhauser. I think it's worth putting in the library because it's a rarer game. Have you ever given a really bad review and then regretted it after playing it again? If so, what game? If I thought I gave a bad review unfairly to a game, I would pull the bad review. But whenever I hate a game, especially nowadays, when I hate a game, I go through those rules. I look online because I want to make sure I'm not missing something before I rage against the game. Hey, I'm back because we have backup internet now. Alrighty, well that's good. One of our internets went out, we have backup internet, so I quick switched and I'm back. But I'm only back to tell you that this is over now. So I don't remember what I was talking about. What was the last thing I said before? What was the last thing I was talking about before? Just to make sure I say the last thing here. I missed it. I missed what happened. What was I answering when I went dead? I probably should get rid of that. When you give a bad review, when you hate a game, something. So I give a bad rating to a game. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, that's what I was saying. I was saying when I give a bad rating to a game, I always go read the rules. I go look online. I want to make sure that I have that right before I go ahead and trash it. I don't want to get it wrong if possible. Okay. Well, there you go. That's it. No. See? Roy, I'm going to put this here. He put there as having different opinions, and then there are Trump supporters. But see, I'm going to take it off real quickly because that's the sort of comments that are just rude to other people. You're like, well, everyone has different of opinion except for you. Your opinion's wrong and stupid and terrible and dumb. And then you irritate those people. That is not the point here at Dice Tower. We do it back and forth all the time here on our show where Z will say, I like a game, and we're like, how can you like that? It's so silly. But that's joking between friends. We really don't go home upset about each other about these things. But that's what happens on the internet. You can't see the joking. And it's very, very, very cautious. I really don't think people should do that. So, alrighty. Well, there you go. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming on board and joining us today. Thank you for having backup internet so that we can end this show properly. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you're watching Live Q&A in the Dice Tower. We'll see you all next time.